During the next several weeks, as we journey from Easter towards Pentecost through this season of Eastertide together, I want us to focus on chapter 27 of the story, on the events surrounding the resurrection of Jesus. And as we journey together through this season called Eastertide, I want us to ask the question, what does it mean to live the spirit of Easter? What does that mean? So today I just want to read briefly from the story from chapter 27, and if you prefer you can follow on in your Bible. This is from chapter 20 of John's Gospel. This is Jesus' encounter with Mary Magdalene outside the tomb. Let me read. I'll just turn the page here. Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head, one at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken away my Lord," she said. "I don't know where they've put him." At this she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realise it was Jesus. I just want you to picture this for a minute. She turns around and finds herself face to face with Jesus, but she doesn't recognise it's him. Why not? What's going on here? Has Jesus changed his appearance? I don't think so. I think the reason that Mary didn't recognise Jesus is that she really wasn't expecting to see him. Last time she saw Jesus was Friday morning. He was dead. His broken, battered body was laid in a tomb to rest. And if you've been to a funeral lately, you know very well that when you go to a funeral and say goodbye to somebody, you don't expect to encounter them face to face 3 days later. And so Mary, face to face with Jesus, doesn't recognise him. Let me continue. Jesus, asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you're looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you've put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned towards him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Face to face with Jesus, looking at him, she didn't recognise him because she wasn't expecting to see him. But when Jesus calls her name, Mary, hearing the voice of Jesus calling her name, she recognises who Jesus is. And as I contemplate what it means for me to live the spirit of Easter, I'd find myself contemplating the question, how often am I face to face with Jesus, but because I don't expect to see him, I don't recognise him? How often face to face with Jesus do I fail to recognise him? And I also find myself asking the question, how often does Jesus call my name and I'm just not listening?